Hello and welcome back to the Finding Your Feet podcast, a podcast show dedicated to helping you get closer to your true authentic self by helping you find your feet in life.
Welcome back to the poddy, everybody. Happy New Year and Merry Christmas to you. Hope you've had a really nice time over the Christmas break. You've enjoyed yourself, relaxed, taking a break from your self-development routines. We have been doing that, but we were just saying, like, you can really feel it when you stop.
Yeah.
Keeping up with the consistent meditation, journaling and exercise, you can really feel it. So I'm excited to get back on it in January and not being like a total new year, new me and then flop off it in Jan. So obviously we always keep it going anyway, but I'm excited to get the routine back.
Yeah. I think it's good, if anything, actually having that downtime makes you miss it.
Yeah.
Because sometimes you need that. It's like even when people say, like when you session the gym too much, like you lose your momentum a bit. So I think it's really good to have that rest period over Christmas. And then, this is the time of the year where some people start to get like that fire in the belly again. They're like, oh, I'm ready.
Yeah, and that's what this episode's all about. Like, a little bit of a chit chat about 2021 and just talking about the new year and just bringing you lots of motivational, inspirational energy for your start of 2022. I'm really, really excited about next year. I've got a good feeling about next year. I just feel like it's going to be better for everyone. I do really believe that. And I'm going to make sure that I have a better year anyway. Not that this year was bad, but I'm really excited about 2022. I've got a lot of good vibes. I'm just excited to get back out there into the world after the Christmas break and, smash the year.
Yeah, I feel like everyone's in the same boat. They can really feel that like fiery 2022 energy.
Yeah, I love the new year energy.
Yeah, I'm so ready to ride on it. Like I'm so ready.
It's such a nice time. Like you can obviously rebirth and transform yourself at any point of the year, but there is just something different about riding it with that new year energy, like just that closing of a year. It's just the perfect opportunity to like reflect on how you've been. What is it that you've done well? Like what are you proud of? What could have gone better? And then setting new intentions and new focuses and new goals for next year. Like it's just the perfect time to start to do that, like wrapping up the year and getting ready for a new one. Like it's the perfect time to transform. Obviously you can do it whenever you want, but it hits different at this time of year.
I think like even if it's like consciously or unconsciously, there's just huge shifts around New Year. When I always look back on New Year's from years ago, I always notice such a shift in my life from that December to the January. That's why it's a perfect time to like invest in yourself and like do the work, because you're going to look back at a year and think, I'm actually so glad I sat down and really considered like, what do I want out of this next new year? That's why we literally cannot wait to get all of you together for the new Invest in Your Dreams New Year workshop on the 16th of January at 6 p.m. It is going to be one amazing evening, and everything we've just said, really diving into that new year energy and considering what do you want out of your new year. That's what we're going to do in the evening all together and raise our vibration.
Get manifesting, get focused. And it's just 2 hours for you to have time for you to focus on what you want out of this year and set goals, set intentions, get given all the practical tools and knowledge on how to set goals, how to vision board, things, manifesting hacks, and how to stay accountable, how to stay motivated, and how to stay consistent with what it is that you want to do, because it's all well and good, like, putting everything you want on a board, but we are really focused on the action that you take to get there. So that's what this evening is all about, as well as making sure that you end 2022 and think, wow, like I really did make myself proud that year. And it starts by you investing in yourself. So if you want to come and join us for the live workshop on the 16th of January, 6 p.m. till 8 p.m. GMT live on Zoom, then you can get a ticket on our website, findingyourfeetpodcast.com. It's going to be so much fun. Link is in the show notes. We can't wait to see you there.
Yeah, come and join us. Like literally cannot wait to just get everyone together. Like I feel like, especially after the Christmas break, like we just said, you're relaxing, but once that January comes, like you want to ride on that exciting energy, and you really want to look back at the end of 22 and think, I gave it my all, because that's all we can do.
I love the live workshops. I love talking to everyone and stuff. So it's a nice evening as well for you to like meet other people and connect.
Yeah, for sure.
So I feel like when you are coming to the end of a year and you're reflecting on how it went, sometimes you can spend a lot of the time looking at what didn't go well.
Yeah.
And you very rarely sort of celebrate yourself and look at what worked and what you're proud of and you know, what you achieved and what was really nice, what was good about the year, what made you happy. And we don't do that. We don't celebrate ourselves very much. And I think like it's partly like that the culture of like always wanting more, like next goal, and like you're like, oh, I want that, that's my goal, and then you get it, and then you've got it, and like the sort of the novelty of it is already worn off by the time you attain it, so you're like not bothered, like you're like, oh, I'm not that proud. Whereas you, like a year ago, or the younger you, would have been like absolutely ecstatic over what you'd done. But it's really important to like reflect and celebrate yourself. And not just look at things that didn't work. Like obviously it is important to look at what didn't work so you can improve going forward, but it's very important to look at what you're proud of. So we want you guys to think about that within yourselves. Like what are you proud of from 2021? Like what are some of the things that, you know, work well? What are some of the moments of like maybe random spontaneous surprises or something really nice? What are the parts that made you really happy, and like reflect on those as well, so that you can feel like good energy and gratitude, and boost your confidence as well, to go into the new year with setting new goals, because you focused on, oh wow, yeah, I did these things. I think sometimes a year is a long time. Like it goes quick, but also it like me, who I am in January of like 2021, I'm like, do I even recognise that girl? Like as in I do like obviously recognise her, it's me, but as in like I just feel so different. Like I was literally saying before we started recording, because we haven't recorded an episode, just me and you, in 6 weeks, which is really weird. That's the longest we've ever gone not recording an episode of me and you in the whole time we've ever done this podcast. Obviously because we had so many guest interviews coming out. So I was on our YouTube channel, so I had to look at some of our old videos, just because, you know, it's just funny. I literally forget everything that I say in every episode. I can never remember. So sometimes when I listen back, I'm like, it's like I've never heard it. Like it's like I'm listening to it like a listener would listen. Yeah, and I'm like, wow, that's a really good advice there. I needed to hear that. Like you just forget that you say all these things. But like even looking at some of them from the summer, I'm like, that girl, like I'm like, I'm so different to her now. Like it's crazy. So I think it's really important to actually make note of like what went well this year, and like celebrate yourself, because you completely forget like all the things that you've done. And that's what we're going to share with you now, like 3 things that we're proud of ourselves for. But we want you to think about that within yourself. Like what are you proud of from this year that you've done?
Yeah, because I think even like hearing our own reflections might help you realize some things about yourself that you didn't even consider. Like, oh, I'm really proud of that, because I think it really helps to share. And yeah, it's so true. Like I think we're wired a little bit to focus on the negatives. Like,
we absolutely
what did I do this year that I want to leave? Like even though
what do I want to leave behind in 2021? And yeah, that's really important too. But also like what was good?
Yeah, exactly.
So, Abby, what are you proud of? I want you to tell me 3 things that you're proud of yourself.
Okay.
2021.
So my first one that I'm proud of is embarking deeper on my own healing and therapy journey, and in particularly starting a new course recently, which is kind of like a teacher training on like a very like deep shamanic.
You trained to be a witch, aren't you?
What's the other word for it?
Somatic, is that it?
Yeah, somatic. So it's like a lot of like body-based healing, a lot to do with trauma, and it's basically like teacher training for a year. But you can take it as teacher training, so it's like a practitioner course, or you can just take it as a year of healing. And like I've only really done one session, but oh my gosh, like the work is so deep, and like you know it, and a lot of our listeners will know it, that like that is something I'm truly, truly proud of, because it's so easy to like turn a blind eye to it, because it's uncomfortable. It's so uncomfortable. That like deep healing, like it's so enlightening and so beautiful, but it's also really uncomfortable at parts. So I've definitely embarked on a whole new adventure that I didn't think I would this year. Do you know what I mean? Like when I think back to last year, so that's definitely something I'm really proud of, and I'm only just at the start. So it's like thinking it actually ends next December, so it's actually like a full year from now. So I'm very excited to see where that takes me, and I'm very proud of anybody else that goes to therapy or goes to them deep parts of themselves that they don't really want to face, to heal and grow and live a life that they know they deserve of.
Yeah, I think you should tell everyone who's running the course because they all know her.
Yeah, you guys will have probably listened to our episode with Estelle Bingham.
Or if they haven't, they might know she's
yeah,
very well known.
Yeah, you may know who she is, and if you don't, then you probably will want to tap into her world. She's just the most intuitive, psychic, just the most amazing healer, and she's done it for I think she's done it for 20 years, holding like one-to-one sessions, like taking people to the deepest level of healing, like it's beautiful. And now she's at the point in her life where she wants to share her knowledge, she wants to teach people. So she's taken us through this course, and it's really beautiful. The way she's teaching us is to just like hold a space for someone, but there's so many intricacies to it, you know, like not bring your own stuff into it. But no, it's fascinating, and I can't wait to see where it takes me. But yeah, if you don't know of Estelle or what she's about, and you're into energy healing, trauma, all that, definitely go and listen to the episode with her, because you won't regret it. Like, her world is a whole new world. And then my second thing I'm most proud of, and with these as well, I don't know about you, but I didn't think too much about these. I kind of just went with what come up for me. So you guys should do that as well. Like, what comes up for you really naturally, I think, is probably what you are like most proud of. So mine would be kind of opening my heart to love.
I
know,
cute. So cute.
Yeah,
you should definitely be proud of that.
Yeah, because it's easier said than done. Like, you can, you know, meet people and be open to it, but you do come up with a lot of shit. Like, you come head to head with a lot of things, and I think this year, obviously, I met someone, and
he just turned my world upside down.
No, but there was like a lot of moments where I was like, what do I want to choose? I had to keep reminding myself time and time again, like, what do I want to choose? Fear or love, fear or love. And I think sometimes it's really hard to actually like distinguish the two. And I think you just have to like really trust your intuition and trust your gut, and just kind of keep choosing love until, of course, if someone gives you a reason not to, then don't. But I think just with relationships and love, it's such a vulnerable thing, and it's so easy to shut yourself down and think, oh, I'm just going to stay in my like safety zone. But there's such unconscious work as well goes into that. So yeah, there was a stage where I just really had to remind myself, like, don't choose fear. Like, even if you're going to get hurt, even if you're going to be heartbroken on the floor, like, don't choose fear. Like, keep choosing love. And obviously we're in a really beautiful relationship, so I'm really proud of myself. I mean, and you've played a big role in it as well. Like, those like few stages where I'm like, but yeah, it's kind of like the first one as well. Like, if you're willing to go there with yourself and do the work and push yourself and like welcome in uncomfortable feelings to sit alongside more comfortable ones and walk with them together, you can really get to a more beautiful place. It's just all about getting to that like level of vulnerability within yourself, definitely, and then bringing that into a relationship as well.
Yeah. So do you think you've had like because you've had relationships before, like long-term ones as well, so you're quite experienced in that sense, so you can compare them. Obviously they're with different people, but do you think that because you've started to meet yourself on a deeper level, it's like you are so different now to even who you were honestly last year, like you're so much more mature. You just and not as you were immature or anything like that, but you just really grown up. You're just like much more of like your own woman now.
Yeah, completely.
So I'm obviously can see that within yourself, but do you think that because you've done you know, like you said, work with therapy, things like that, where you've come to meet you and you know, past traumas that maybe we're still carrying around, things that things we're all carrying around from the past that we need to let go of, and you've been doing work like that this year, do you think that that's made you have a better relationship then? Like, can you see that because you meet yourself on a deeper level now that that means
Yeah, 100%, because I think obviously depending on what kind of work you're doing yourself will determine what relationship you end up in anyway. So obviously my past relationships weren't like the healthiest, so now it is much more healthy. Like, that really is a reflection of doing the work initially, but then yes, so like 100%, because I think even like through doing the work on yourself, like you learn how to like self-soothe and everything like that, and like not be like codependent.
A bit self-soothing.
Yeah, but obviously it's like such a work in progress anyway. But I think if you're just willing to, if anyone's willing to try, and it doesn't need to be even like really deep layers of healing, but if anyone's just willing to work on themselves, that just continues through the relationship anyway. There'll be so many things I'm going to come up to like in this relationship that I won't even know about. Do you know what I mean? But if you're willing to work on it, it just makes a relationship so much more beautiful, and you can like grow together as people. But no, it's really true. Like I feel like I'm so different from like even this time last year, like so different. And it really just come down to that, like investing in yourself and knowing that you deserve better than what you had before.
So like for anybody that's listening now and they're like, okay, one of my goals for 2022 is to find love. You know, they want to get out there.
I love this. I feel like I'm on like an Oprah interview or something. It's quite fun.
Yeah, that's one of their goals. You know, they're sticking it on their vision board. You know, a big rock. Don't take it. Maybe not a rock. Maybe just a picture of a couple or something. They want love. What would be your advice? As you said, you opened your heart to love, and you know you could have run away in the early stages. Not that he was giving you any reason to run away, but as in when you step into vulnerability, it's scary. You could have been an avoidant. You could have got the ick. You know, all of that stuff. Have you got any little tips for anybody, you know, who wants to?
I would say definitely like a huge thing is obviously looking back on your childhood and how like love was represented to you, definitely from like your parent figures and stuff like that, because it plays a huge role. Even if you had the most amazing parent figures, that still plays a role. And it's not to say it's going to cause an issue or anything, but it might just determine the way you look at something. So definitely working on that. And what everyone says, but it's just so true, is like attachment styles and stuff like that. Like once I knew more about my attachment style, that made everything so much more clear to me. I think just generally doing the work on yourself in terms of even like everyday meditation makes you a calmer person. So if you come into conflict in like a relationship, that's more like in a relationship, but yeah, if you come into conflict in a relationship, you're more likely to chill and like understand the other person's needs. My last bit of advice, if you are seeking like a new relationship, one thing, and I've said it many times, is you literally attract who you are. So you can't necessarily seek something from a relationship and really like want that and value that if you don't even represent that within yourself. Like, you know, if you're saying, oh, I really want an emotionally mature man to come into my life, but you're not emotionally mature whatsoever, like you're going to attract someone on the exact same level as you. Do you know what I mean? And it comes into so many different things. Even if it's like a behaviour, like, oh, I don't want somebody that does that, but then you do it yourself. Like, you really have to check in with yourself and think, I'm going to attract someone on the same level as me. So like, what do I want to change about myself first to attract the right person? And then once you can like learn and grow together.
Great advice. Thanks for sharing. What you said about the meditation thing, I actually realised the other day, because I was talking to some people about meditation, and someone was saying to me about how often you have conversations with people who talk to you not to listen but to talk about themselves. Like they'll talk about themselves and you're like, yeah, and then when you go to talk about you, they're like they're not.
Yeah, you can tell them listening.
Yeah, and I actually, and it's not to say it's because they're a horrible person or whatever, but I actually think that one of the skills that meditation gives you that people don't realise really, and it's not like necessarily advertised as a benefit of meditation, is that you're a lot more present in your relationships. Because I think it very naturally, and it happens to, because it literally like changes your brain. So it literally changes, like it's so slow and happens so you wouldn't even notice it really within yourself until you kind of think about things in this way. But meditation, because it's always bringing you back into the present moment, because you're always practicing that in like 10 minutes a day or whatever, it fully infiltrates into your day-to-day life, and that's how you act and live without even making a choice to be like that. It just happens. So when you're in relationships, like and you're talking to people, you'll have better relationships because you're making people, whether it's not even just romantic, like friends, everything, family, you're making that other person feel really heard and seen because you're being there and you're listening, because you've got the patience in your own mind and like the concentration to kind of like focus on this one thing at hand. Obviously, that's nothing to do with love tips, but I mean, it's just
really true.
Yeah, I just really realised it recently, because I was like, I don't think I do anyway. maybe if I do, people let me know. But like, I think that I really do listen with intent when people are telling me. Like, I really listen to people. And I was thinking, have I always been like that? I don't know, but I was like, that's definitely got a part to play with how much I meditate. Not that I meditate that much. I mean, I literally do like 10, 15 minutes a day, but as in like not sit there for 6 hours a day reaching high states of consciousness. Like, it's a very doable amount of meditation. It's just a little habit, but it really does impact like your life in that way too,
Yeah, 100%.
Which is kind of priceless.
Yeah, literally, you cannot put a price on that. But no, it's definitely true. I feel like I could definitely see that correlation of like, I know people like that, and everyone will know people like that, where you feel like you talk to them, but you feel like you're just talking through them because they're not really listening. And yeah, it's kind of like those people that you can tell they can't really sit with themselves. It's not that there's anything wrong with them. They just maybe need to like dedicate that time to something like meditation, which is life-changing.
And very simple to do. Okay, what's the last thing that you're proud of?
And the final thing I'm proud of for this year is just believing in myself and you and us.
Like, you believe in me?
Like, believing in us to always like carry on this podcast.
Oh yeah.
And yeah, like always showing up, staying consistent with it, because like it's not always easy.
It's not.
Like, yeah, like especially something like podcast, like there might even be people listening that have a podcast. Like,
it ain't easy.
Yeah,
it's fucking fun, but it's really hard.
Yeah, because you got no instant rewards. Like, you don't put up an episode and get feedback, get instant money, anything like that.
Completely against what our brains and our society fucking loves, which is instant gratification, instant feedback. Swipe on Tinder, instant feedback. Likes on Instagram, instant feedback. Like, that's what we fucking love. But you don't get that with a podcast. Like, you just throw it out onto the internet, and you've got pretty much no idea how it's landing for that other person unless they come and tell you about it. Which really, if you think about it, how many, like, I listen to podcasts all the time. I never come and tell the host anything about, even if it literally shook me. I go and send it to my friend or something. I'm like, mate, you need to listen to this. But I never go and tell them. So you never know the true impact of anything that you're doing is having on people when it comes to poddies and stuff. That doesn't mean, like, they're not valuable. They obviously are incredibly valuable. But because you're not having that, the only person that's going to motivate you to keep going is yourself.
Yeah, exactly. And that's why I think with things like a podcast, like, so many people have really decent podcasts, but they'll just end up giving up because you don't have like that instant gratification. So that's why when I look back on this year, I feel super proud that we're here in this amazing studio that we renovated ourselves. We're still putting out episodes every single week, and like, we're so excited about the future. Like, there's so many things just changing, and it just makes me so excited, like I said. But yeah, it makes me super proud that even when times are tough, even when you didn't get any kind of like gratification, even when you said something really vulnerable and it's like, we never give up. We've never even considered giving up. Like, we obviously love it,
no.
but I'm super proud.
I think a lot of people would have bottled it by this point, 100%.
Yeah.
Even if I was doing this on my own, I think I probably
100% I would bottle it by now. But I think that does come back, to what I said at the start of like really, really believing in yourself and knowing that like we're doing this from a place of love. Like, we are like putting out that good message to really help people with the mental health, with the healing, with the businesses, whatever it is. Like, we're coming from such a good place and we love it and enjoy it. But I think just believing that like we deserve to have a voice and to have a podcast and to share this with the world. Like, we deserve that. So that's why even when we've been like, oh my God, we've never given up, we've never even considered it. And that makes me really proud, because not a lot of people will have that mindset, and not a lot of people will be surrounded by people that will push each other to have that mindset.
Yeah.
So it's like proud/grateful.
Yeah. Because like the second half of this year has been very challenging for us business wise. And like there's never been a point where we're like, okay, let's pack it in.
Yeah. Fun's over, let's go home.
Yeah, because like, no.
Yeah.
That's not the vibes. Not to say that quitting is a bad thing, because it is important to leave things, sunk cost fallacy and all that, leave things when they're not serving you anymore. But that's not what's going on here. But yeah, don't stop, can't stop, won't stop. Yeah, and one of the things we're so excited about for the next year is that we have joined a podcast network. So you probably noticed on our cover art, it's got a little logo in the bottom, it says Monday Network. It is a podcast network for female-led podcasts that are all to do with self-development and being girl bosses. Plus the 8% of men listeners that we have who are also guy bosses. Yeah, like it's like female-led podcasts, like, you know, like Boss Babe kind of vibes. And we are part of it and we're so excited. So there's going to be lots of exciting things coming from us through them as well, like potentially events as well in person. And it's founded by two incredibly inspiring women who've got their own podcasts as well, their own businesses. They're amazing. We've got one of them coming on the podcast soon, so you'll get to hear a chat with her, Kirsty. But we're very excited about that as well. So just wanted to explain what that little logo was on our thing. And yeah, we're just excited for 2022 and what our Find Your Feet is going to develop with like collaborating with other people in that way. Because I think so many like people don't like collaborating, and like especially girls, you know what I mean? Like we get a bit like, you know, this is mine, like, you know, territorial. When actually like we're all better together. Like we're all better like collabing and sharing, and you know. So that's what that's all about. Which we're excited for.
Yeah, no, I can't wait to see our journey with Monday Network, because I think as well, like you said, like that collective energy, like coming together and raising all together as women is so exciting. So I can't wait for that. But yeah, I hope you guys took something from my 3 proudest moments, and I hope they helped you reflect. But Grace, what are your 3 proudest moments?
Give your voice a rest now.
Whoa, I was like, what?
I've just got a little.
I need to be on voice. It's very annoying. Like, yeah, I feel like I need to be on like voice rest.
Yeah, so
I'll just
give you a break.
I'll mute
now.
for a while.
Yeah. So my first proudest moment of 2021 is similar to your first proudest moment, and that was going to therapy. Because I've done it before, but like I'm just like proud of myself for being self-aware enough to know when it's time, like when I need it, and being like brave enough to go, because I know that like people find it really scary, because you're going to have to go in there and like talk about stuff. You've got to pay. It's a financial investment, you know. I could have gone and spent all that money in Zara every week and my wardrobe would have been popping, but you know, my mind's popping instead. I think that's a bit better.
Definitely.
So like financially investing, time investing in myself, and just like I think like it's just such a big act of self-love to be like, okay, do you know what? I'm not okay right now, and I'm going to go and take myself to someone who knows how to deal with someone that is not okay, and can advise me and help me manage my emotions and process things. I think that that's a really like brave thing for anyone to do, and it just shows how much respect you have for yourself to do that. Because you can so easily just fucking push shit under the carpet. Sorry if everyone's swearing. Sometimes I come in and swear on episodes, sometimes I don't. It's sweary today. Just the passion of the New Year's coming out, you know. Like you can so easily just push things under the carpet and move on with your life, and let your trauma just come back up in 5 years and literally shoot you in the foot. Or you can actually sit and deal with it now, so it just clears and goes, and you can move on with your life as a better person. So I'm proud of myself for going to therapy, because I like. I'm also not going to go into what I talked about in therapy. It's a bit too far. But like I really learned a lot of things about myself that if I didn't learn now, there were things that were massive pitfalls in my mindset and views of relationships with all kinds of people, that if I didn't realise them now at 25, I would have realised them at 30 or 35 or 40 in a far worse situation. Do you know what I mean? Like either I learned them now and was like, ooh, that's a bit funny to let that go. Or, you know, like all these things were linked from childhood that we're not even aware that we believe, and how we perceive the world. That got brought to me in therapy. And like you got to put your ego aside and be like, okay, like, do you know what I mean? Like, because you're not like anything kind of, wants to be really tough, lovey and horrible here, but anything like sort of bad that happens to you, sometimes, not saying you attract bad things that happen to you, because I think that's a really toxic way of thinking, but there are things that you can have in your own mindset, in your own subconscious mind, and how you perceive the world, your beliefs that you're not even aware you have, and you know, on the like, they sound quite innocent, but they can actually make you quite vulnerable to certain types of situations in life. They're a pitfall in life. So basically, I'm like proud of myself for going to therapy, and then like realizing stuff. Like Kylie Jenner said. But like for going there and being like just really happy to, even if I was like sitting there thinking what I'm about to say to this therapist is really embarrassing, like as in like what I'm admitting, like my ego is like, no way is that coming out of your mouth. But I know that I'm sitting there and paying money, and that if I don't get this out of my mouth and out of my head and onto this objective person who's going to give me a clear point of view on it, it's going to live in me forever. Like as in, you're never going to be able to let it go. It doesn't matter whether it's big or small. And I think that's the thing with people who go to therapy. A lot of them go and they lie. A lot of people lie to a therapist. I'm like, what are you doing? Like, I get why you're doing it because you're scared, but like, you're not going to get anywhere. Like, I sit there and I'm like, I would never ever admit or say these things to anybody else, but I'm just going to get it out right now because then once it's left my body, it's not part of me anymore. So yeah, I'm proud of myself for taking myself back to therapy and being really honest and open with someone about stuff, and how honestly, like if I hadn't, like when Sinead Hegarty came on our poddy a few episodes ago, it's an amazing episode, so go and listen to it. It's Sinead Hegarty. If you haven't heard, I can't remember what number it was now, but it was called like Transform Your Life and Find Your Purpose with Sinead Hegarty. It's a few episodes up. Go and listen to it. But in it, she said this thing that really stuck with me, and it was that love of fate. And it's actually like, I think it's a Stoic from Stoic philosophers, but because it's that in Latin or whatever, it's called amor fati. I've definitely not said that right, but I've seen that before. I feel like people get like tattooed on them and stuff. But basically, like love of fate, and like and like finding even when things aren't necessarily like working out or whatever, finding the love for that situation, the good, the lesson in it. And I think that like, so that's kind of what I did there. Like I was like, right, okay, so things haven't gone right, go to therapy. It's made me feel a certain type of way. Let's go to therapy, talk about it. And then I'm like, wow, like if I didn't like uncover that, honestly, like I reckon it could have really wrecked my life. No, but that sounds really dramatic. But as in, I really think, when like people get older and they're married and they get divorced and they're like, why have I married this person or whatever, or things like that. This is really deep.
No.
And I'm not going to say obviously what it is. But as in, like, when people do that, and it's, but if you face your shit now, like, you save yourself. I've saved future Grace, like, and I can really see that now. And I'm very grateful for myself for doing that this year. But and that love of fate, like I love that so much, and I can see now like how something that like why certain things happened and pitfalls within my own mind that made me into that situation, because we all have a part to play in where we end up in life, even when it's bad things too. And it really made me like grow, but at the time it was fucking horrible, hence why I was in therapy, because I was an anxious wreck. Like I was like, something's not right here. I'm anxious, like that's not normal. So clearly there's emotions underneath there, something's causing this. So that's why you go to things like therapy, so that you can figure that shit out. Like I'm committed till the very end of making sure I have the life that I want. That's like what the whole purpose is of life, to grow, to fight for what you want, to build a life you want. And part of that means like, you were saying, like facing the corners of your mind, or like things that are hiding there that you didn't even realise that are holding you back. Yeah,
100%. I think you explained that so lovely. And I think as well, definitely you should be so proud of the way you definitely just decided to take yourself to therapy, because I remember like you were struggling, and it wasn't like a song and dance of, oh, maybe should I go to therapy,
or anybody else being like, I think you should go because you're not
like
yourself or
it's
whatever.
Having that that self-worth to know I need the help, I need therapy, and just taking yourself to it. That's definitely such a proud moment. I love that so much.
And people should always do that. I know like therapy costs money, but then at least you can just get it over with, like rip the plaster off and just fucking move on with your life. Do you know what I mean? You do not need to sit for years on end, like marinating in shit that's happened in your life. Like, I know that life can be tough. I know. And I'm not taking away that from anyone. Like, if you're sitting here now thinking, fuck you, like, I'm going through loads of shit. Like, because at the time I was like, you feel that like defensiveness against the world, like when you're like, when something's happened to you, you're like, you know. So I get it, but you know, you deserve to move on. So whatever it is, like, go and talk about it.
Yeah.
And usually you can't really talk about it all with your friends. Like, you do need a professional person that's like trained in, you know, mowing your lawn of your brain and tidying things up. So yeah, that's my first thing that I'm proud of.
You will have just heard there Grace talking about the life-changing benefits of therapy, and that's why we're really, really proud to bring to you our sponsor, who are BetterHelp, who are an online therapy company whose mission is to help you start living a happier life from today.
Wherever you're listening to this podcast right now, wherever you are in the world, BetterHelp services are available for you, because it is professional, secure online counselling, all done from the comfort of your own home. All you need is an internet connection. You can do it from the app on your phone or from your computer, however you want to work and communicate with your therapist. If you want to do video calls, phone calls, or just messages, whatever way you feel the most comfortable, they'll work around you, and it doesn't matter where you are in the world. BetterHelp services are available for you.
Yeah, and it's really simple to set up, and they will find the exact right therapist for you. So just for an example, one of our listeners kind of asked for someone that's quite spiritual and on her level, and she got matched with the perfect person, and she literally loves her therapist on BetterHelp, which makes me so happy. Yeah, but even if you are matched with someone and you think, actually, I want someone a bit more spiritual, I want someone slightly different, you can actually change therapists for free until you're happy, which is a really incredible benefit.
Yeah, because it's very important that you vibe with your therapist, that you get on, so that, like I was saying before, you can let out those little things that your ego's like, don't you say that. You know, you can let it out. You need to feel comfortable with them so that you can get the most out of the experience. So BetterHelp do let you change as many times as you want at no additional cost. But the other amazing thing is that they are so much more affordable than traditional offline counselling. The biggest barrier to most people going to therapy, apart from obviously people maybe being a bit uncomfortable or whatever, is the financial investment that you have to make. And that's why BetterHelp try and make their services really affordable for everybody, but keep the quality still really, really high, with really highly qualified licensed counsellors on there. So if you want to sign up for BetterHelp's therapy, it will cost you around £160 a month, and that is including a 10% discount for being a podcast listener. So if you just go to the link betterhelp.com/finding your feet, that's betterhelp.com/find your feet. Link is in the show notes. You click through there, you fill out a questionnaire, and you will get matched with a therapist in 2 days. And you just pay for therapy as like a monthly subscription. So you can just do 1 month, have 4 sessions. That might be enough. You might be done, or you can continue doing it. You just pay for a month in advance, and that covers everything. All your sessions, webinars. They do group webinars on there. You can message your therapist outside of your sessions during the week. They'll always get back to you really quickly. So a lot of additional things on top of the fact that you are also getting that one-to-one therapy.
Yes, so if you want to embark on your own therapy journey, head to betterhelp.com/finding your feet. That is betterhelp.com/finding your feet, and start your own journey today. But that's all for now. Let's get back into the episode. Okay, beautiful. Absolutely love that. What is your second proudest moment?
My second proudest moment is, it's kind of linked onto the first one, but I sort of realised in the middle half of this year, I was like, I really lack resilience. Not in a really bad way, but I was like, that's something that I need to build. I need to build emotional resilience. And I actually think, and maybe my mind will change on this, I don't know, but I actually think you kind of build emotional resilience through going through situations that require you to be resilient. I think you have a choice whether you show up with resilience or whether you know, bottle it or whatever, or choose just go the other way. But I also think like you don't really develop that skill other than going like just doing life. Do you know what I mean? Like you can't really read. You can read a book about this stuff, but really like it's one of those things that you just, it's like practice. Like that's the only way you can build it. And I realized that time I was like, I need more resilience in me. Like it's important in life, very, very important to have that. And just because life like will throw curveballs all the time, and you know, and as you're finding your feet, this is the Finding Your Feet podcast, as you're growing up and stuff, like you're more and more on your own, you know, you're more and more like, because honestly when you first step into your 20s you don't feel like an adult whatsoever. You know, like people when you're younger you think, oh yeah, I want to be 20, I'll be like a full adult. It's like no, you're still literally a kid. Not saying that I'm like, I don't know, fully fledged adult now, I don't know, but do you know, like, would you ever feel like a proper, I don't know.
Yeah, probably not.
But I'm sure you probably, you know, feel it more as you get older. But like, so anyway, it became apparent to me that I was like, that's part of my self-development toolkit that needs to be built up. So I like said that to myself, like, emotional resilience is something I want to learn about and build on and work more on and build within myself. And you know what? The universe fucking listened to me and it said, okay, no problem. Like, it, again, coming back to that love of fate thing. So then for like this, you know, the second half of this year, like we were saying, we've had moments where you're like, you really require resilience to continue to do what you're doing and look beyond where you are to where you could be and what's possible and keep going and not get scared and not give up and not stop worrying about what everybody else thinks and all this stuff. Resilience is the only thing that's going to make you hold on and keep going. So and there's this, again, bringing it back to that interview we did with Sinead Hegarty, but that like really, she said something in there that like flipped a switch in my mind, and maybe it did for some of you guys, but she literally was saying like, you ask the universe for something, it gives you signs of how you can have that. It's not going to literally, so I like, oh, universe, I want more emotional resilience. Okay, here you go, Grace, eat this sandwich and I'll give you emotional resilience. It's not going to do that, but what it's going to do is give you situations, signs, things like that are going to allow you to be in situations where you're going to grow and build that. So it's the same way if you want more money, the universe is not going to go and put £1,000 in your bank account to keep you going, and that's not going to happen. Like, you know, like I know there's like manifesting stories about money just appearing out of nowhere, but I think sometimes like you can spend a lot of your time thinking shit like that and then stop taking action on life, which is like not good. Like manifesting is all about action, but you ask the universe for money, it's going to give you money making ideas, and it's up to you whether you reject those ideas or go with it. So it's like with and it's with anything, like Sinead used the example of purpose. So you ask for purpose, and universe will give you ways where you will find purpose and things like that, and you can literally think, oh no, I'm not going to, like, you get it as like a little, someone might mention something to you, oh, that's quite a good idea, and you can literally ignore it, or all these things. And I've really realized that that's how life does work like that, like and now that's clocked with me. I'm like taking the little thoughts I have serious, like these little ideas I have serious about different things, because you start to see how often you are being given ideas and opportunities and signs. You have to take action on them. That's how the world works. Like, we have free will as people in the world. Like, when you're working with the universe and manifesting the higher power and all that, the magic of the world, you have free will over everything. Like, you're the one that's in control, and you're co-creating, they're like helping you. So it's up to you, like, whether you're going to move through fear and act on an idea or something, because that might be, if you're asking for money, that might be the thing that, you know, gives you money or whatever. So I've really realized that. So basically I was asked for resilience, and I said I wanted to work on it. I was interested. I wanted to build on more, because I realized I didn't have enough for the kind of person I want to be, the kind of woman that I want to be, and what my life goals are, and what my aspirations are, and what the kind of things I'm working towards and trying to create in my life. The person that has those, resilience is essential. And like, I remember I saw like Rose Lane on Instagram put this amazing quote up, like literally like 2 years ago or something, but I never forgot it. And it literally said like, if you were literally given tomorrow everything that you want in life, so say you're really ambitious and you want all these business goals and things like that, like that's who I am as a person. So say someone gives me all my things tomorrow, like, here you go, Grace, like here's a big fat global brand of whatever of that you want, and things like this, you've got a big podcast, all this stuff. So that means you're managing staff, you're responsible for loads of things, all these things. I wouldn't be able to handle that right now, who I am, future Grace can, but that's me now. I can't, because I'm still on the journey. Like I'm like, you're always on the journey of life. Like you're always going to get to where you want to be as long as you keep going and you don't give up. But the journey along the way is literally shaping you to become the person that can handle those big goals that you want. So when I was said about that resilience thing, like then through the second half of this year where it's been a bit more challenging, resilience was essential. I had to build it. Like I was literally given a million situations where I had to build it. Like I got given the opportunity to build it. That's what I asked for. So you know, and like, but again, like that love of fate thing, and just realizing that's how kind of like the world works, that when you're asking for these things, like sometimes they get given to you like that, and it's not always easy, but always like trusting the, you know, it's like kind of meant to be happening. Yeah, so that's basically the second thing that I'm proud of, was that I built the resilience that I realized I didn't have, and I was like, I need that. And I probably will look at myself in a year and be like, you thought you were resilient, like you're not, like there'll be more to come or whatever. But I'm definitely very different to who I was, you know, at the beginning of this year or anything. Like I just give so much less of a fuck now, like and I just realized, like, whatever you want in life, that's such a cringy quote, everything you want is on the other side of fear, but it's true.
Yeah, it's so true.
It's literally true. Like if you can dodge around and be scared, but you're not going to get what you want, and eventually, and like this is what Imogen was saying to us in the last episode as well, like eventually the pain of where you are is greater than the pain of taking that fearful step to step outside your comfort zone or whatever, to move yourself forward. So yeah.
No, I think that's so true, and something I believe so deeply, that if you ask for something, like if you ask for strength, then you will get hardship to build the strength. Like it's so true. And I love that thing as well of being a student of life. Like, you know, like you can read all the books, you can go to all the webinars, everything like that, but you've really got to be a student of life. But
you've got to integrate what you learn, and otherwise it doesn't mean shit. Like it just goes over your head.
Yeah, because even like stuff like you can ask for healing, you'll probably get triggered to heal that. Do you know what I mean? But in terms of like your emotional resilience, do you think you can do things to build on that, or do you think it has to come from life experience?
No, I think it's like 80% life experience and 20% you can learn from other people, because like I love listening to podcasts and things like that, and books about people's journey of like building things and businesses and stuff like that, because it always requires resilience or whatever. And you can always hear in other people's stories the moments where they ran into a challenge, or they took a risk, or things were literally not going well, but they held on anyway and they kept going, whatever. And those moments, then when you face them within your own life, where you're like, shit, like like what's going on here, how's this going to pan out, or whatever, you can remember those people and be like, oh, but they did it and it worked out. So not as in you literally copy what they're doing, because your situation is completely different, so you can't, but they inspire you to okay, what did they do? They basically stayed resilient. So you know, so I think it's really important to hear other people's stories, and like listen and read books and listen to podcasts and learn from all these other people, because then you're like, oh right, actually there's nothing wrong with me, my life isn't totally messed up, because it's not going totally smoothly, because actually this is normal. And everyone goes through this process as well, because I think like we all like obviously look at social media a lot, and we probably don't realize how much we're sort of like absorbing all of that as truth, and just really unconsciously absorbing the messages we get on there. And a lot on social media is obviously portraying that everything's great, and that's fine. You do not need to go on social media and a dirty laundry, because why would you want to do that? Like it's not necessary. You don't like, I know there's people that go on there and share, and that's great, like being vulnerable, keeping it real, but you don't always have to do that. That's fine. Like you're not. So most of the time things on social media are just like, you know, like surface level stuff. Yeah. So where like our generation and other generations spend so much time online consuming social media, and where it's always just surface level, life is great, you start to really think that that's actually how everyone's life is, when it's not. Because when you actually talk to people, you're like, oh shit, okay, like, you know.
Yeah.
So yeah, I think mostly resilience is built like a muscle, and you have to practice it, and the only way you practice it is through life. that's it. But I think that you can help have a growth mindset on it, and like sort of adopt resilience as a choice by listening to other people's stories and learning from other people, and remembering those moments where they displayed that within their journey and how it all worked out okay actually in the end, and how that resilience, whatever, was the thing that got them through, that got them there to the other side where it all was okay and worked out and da-da-da. So I think it's 80% a practice within yourself that is just done through life, and 20% done through learning from others and listening and remembering their moments, so that when you're in that, you're like, oh, okay, right, it's fine, because whoever did this, so it's okay, you know?
Yeah, definitely. I feel like that's really good advice, especially as well because that 20% people can take that from this podcast, from hearing you say that. It's like, well, Grace did it, so I can do it. So what would be your third proudest moment of the year?
It's just a little one. It's quite random, but it's actually one of the podcast episodes we did.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, it was a guest we brought on. It was Owen O'Kane. I can't remember what number it was. It was, the episode's called How to Become 10 Times Happier with psychotherapist Owen O'Kane. But I like his book, literally, like, really, really touched me. Like, I just thought it was so practical. If you're not, whatever you're struggling with in life, like, there's answers in that book. And then we obviously brought him on, and I just thought the conversation that we had, not saying it was all from us or anything, it was him and what he was saying, but I just, like, I listened back to it. I don't ever listen back to our episodes really, but I really like him. I think he's such a nice guy, and
so comforting,
so lovely. And I just thought, and he's so intelligent and just says the right things, and you know, he's so well trained as well in what he's like, you know, as a psychotherapist. And as someone who's experiencing a therapy going, like, I know I can see how good he is. But I listened back to it like the other week. I just stuck it on. I don't know. I like listening to Owen, and he doesn't actually do that many podcasts. So I listened to our episode again because I forget what we say in all of our episodes. So actually, sometimes I'm hearing them for the first time, and it's nice. But I was just listening back to it, and I thought, my God, like, if somebody listening to this now that's really depressed or is really anxious or is really lost or is whatever, I'm like, they are gonna get something from this. Like, this is really fucking valuable, and it's a 1 hour podcast episode. And I was like, I'm so proud of this piece of work, like, out of everything we've done all year. I'm proud of a lot of things we've done, but I'm really proud of that conversation because I just thought it was so valuable, and I was just really proud that we brought that to our show and facilitate that conversation for whoever needs to hear it. So that was the third thing.
No, I think that's so nice. I totally agree. I love that episode so much. I'm actually going to definitely go and listen to it again.
Yeah, it's really good.
He just
if
explains
we say
everything.
so ourselves.
Yeah. No, he does.
He's
really
such a good
helps.
guy. Really good guy. So I hope you guys enjoyed hearing our 3 proudest moments of the year. We actually had other things planned to discuss in this episode, but it's you know, it's gone on like it's gone so quick, but we're getting into an hour now, so we're kind of just going to wrap it up there. But want you to think about what you're proud of this year that you did, and make sure that you celebrate, even if it's something really small. It doesn't matter, like, whatever it is, just go, like Abby said, with what first comes to mind when you ask yourself that question. Don't think about it too much, because that's the truth that comes up, like and yeah, write about it, journal about it, so that then, like, you can, because you'll forget these things that you're proud of as well, like, so it's quite nice to write them down. But yeah, the 2022 vibe for me is being a fearless bitch. Yeah. What about you?
I think just fucking going for it. Let's just swear. I think just fucking go for it. The only person standing in your way is yourself. So I think, just remind yourself of that and thinking, I can do anything. I can do anything. Yeah. Just get out your own way. Yeah.
One thing I've really learned this year from because we've had some amazing guests on recently of people that, you know, we've admired for a really long time, watched for a really long time. So it's been amazing to talk to them. And through having these conversations with them yourself, you realise that everyone is just the same. Like, honestly, like, all these people you listen to, the online, these influencers, whoever, like, authors, people you look up to on online and or in real life, they're no different to you. They haven't got anything special. They just tried. They learned things. They taught themselves things. They tried and they just did stuff, like, but they're not like, they're not, we all are talented in different things, but like you tend to like be only interested in kind of what you're gifted in anyway. It's not like I want to go and be a footballer, I've got a skill in football. Do you know what I mean? So like whatever you are, whoever you look at now, like honestly, they're not better than you, they're not above you, they are you, they're the same as you, and their potential is just a reflection back to you of your own, and you honestly can do it if you want to do it.
Yeah, I think as well with that, remembering that everyone starts somewhere as well. So like all those people you admire, if you're feeling like, oh my God, I don't know if I can do it, they were exactly in your shoes at one time. Like you said, we're all the exact same. So if they can do it, you can do it.
So that brings us to read out our quote of the week. We haven't had a quote of the week on the episode in a really long time. Just because we don't ask our guests for them anymore. So we've got an absolute banger for you to take into the new year. And this is a quote from Brianna, I want to say West, but that's not how you spell it, Weist, on Instagram. She wrote 101 essays that will change your life, which you've definitely seen the book all over social media. If you haven't, you live under a rock. But she wrote, anyway, it's her who wrote that book and many other great books. But this is her quote from her Instagram, and we are just obsessed with it. So, don't leave your potential on the table. Each day you wake up and your mind is filled with quiet, inspired ideas, nudges, inklings, wonderings. These are the pathways to your own self-actualization. Every time you let them slide away, you are deciding to stay right where you are. The shift is subtle. When you feel the push, go there. Call that person, change that space, create that thing. Opportunity only lives in the moment. You remain beneath your potential each day you leave your potential on the table. Start picking it up.
I love that so much.
That is the vibe for 2022. And that like literally links in with what I was saying. Like you ask the universe for money, it gives you money making ideas. You ask the universe for purpose, it gives you purpose ideas. You ask the universe for resilience, it puts you in situations where you are required to build resilience. Like you can bottle it and run away and leave your potential on the table, or you can pick it up and you know, so think about that as you go into the year. Like start paying attention to the little nudges and little inklings and these little things, because they are the key to you unlocking like your potential and stepping more into yourself, and that process of self-actualization, which is literally the process of life. And that's what makes life fun, is that you continue to grow and learn more about yourself and develop and overcome challenges within yourself and get satisfaction from seeing yourself like progress and grow. That is what we need as humans, is to feel like we're progressing and growing. There's nothing wrong with that. I think sometimes people can be like, oh, chill out, it's not all about goals, and yeah, things in life are important, but you just said there, like one of the things you're proud of this year is a relationship. That's such an important part of life. We're not just talking all about work and things like that. You know, it's everything. Like that's a growth, that's a challenge. So think about that as you go into the new year. Do not leave your potential on the table in 2022.
I love that visualization as well, of not leaving your potential on the table every morning when you wake up. Just remember that each morning when you look at your bedside table, don't leave your potential there.
Because the only thing I ever regret in life is when I've left my potential on the table, when I've let opportunities go, when I've not pushed myself, when I've literally had some great thing in front of me, but I've bottled it. You know, that's what you regret. So not like you don't regret like random silly things, because they always teach you stuff.
Yeah.
But don't forget, guys, don't leave your potential on the table. Come to the Invest in Your Dreams workshop on the 16th of Jan. The ticket link is in the show notes.
Yeah, I literally cannot wait for that workshop. Please come and join us. It's going to be an amazing evening. But thank you so much for listening, everyone, and we will see you next time.
Happy New Year. Bye.
Bye.